What's up, YouTube? I'm talking today about my minimalist wedding, and let me tell you, it was wonderful. So I don't really have like a set plan of exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna talk to you just as if I was friends with you, which we are, because basically you're watching this and you get to know a lot about me and who I am, and I would also love to get to know you and about what you're about. So please stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy this video. So let's get the ball rolling. Now, I always wanted to have a more extravagant and elegant wedding. I want it to be outdoors and have lots of tables for guests to sit at. I wanted to have a ginormous cheesecake, and I wanted to have pulled pork sandwiches because I love pork, guys. It's a problem. And I also wanted to have probably a wedding dress that maybe would have cost like $1,000 and all these different things. I wanted to have like a professional photographer, a videographer, and I wanted to like, oh my gosh, just so many different things and ideas. And then it came to wedding time, and I was like, oh my goodness. We're gonna be newlyweds. We're only in our early 20s. It's not like we're made of money. What do we do? And so instead, I was like, okay, well, I know that I've always expected to have a certain type of ring, and rings cost a lot of money, and so it all started with the ring. And Josh and I, we were not well off when we were thinking about getting engaged. And so what I did is I was actually wearing this ring on this finger. I had this ring before I'd even met Josh. And can you guess how much it cost? Yes, I'm going to actually tell you guys how much my wedding ring costs. I bought it. It was $5 at Old Navy. So it's lasted really well. I already knew it was my type of style. It's something simple. It goes with all of my clothes. And it's not huge, so it doesn't come off my finger a lot. So it doesn't get... Wow, I just bumped everything around. So it doesn't get caught on my clothing. And see, like with my mom's wedding ring, it's kind of big. It sticks up like this. And as a little kid, when she'd pick me up and put me down, and she was helping me with various things, I'd get scratched by her wedding ring all the time. I hated it. And so I was like, I don't want my kids to be scratched by a wedding ring that costs $2,000 plus. That's just not cool to me. So I decided that I just told Josh, I was like, you know what? We can just use this ring. I'd be perfectly fine and happy with that. So one day, he literally stole this ring off my finger and went and hid it somewhere. And then next thing I knew, we were engaged, and it was back on my hand, but on this finger. And I actually found that amazing. Can you guys see, I was trying out different kinds of makeup today, so my hand's all different shades of colors. Anyways, but... So that was kind of fun. So yeah, that's how it started. And then I was like, okay, I want a wedding dress. And I actually had this picture in my mind, but then I started looking at wedding dresses that were similar to what my type of style was. It's like $1,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to pay that much. So let's find a different option. And guys, I found my wedding dress for $250 on affane.com. So it's AFFANE.com. And guys, it was perfect. It came in the mail. Well, this was a funny story, is that I had ordered it with a cream underlay, and it came pink. I was like, oh my gosh. This is horrible. I'm going to look like a Pepto-Bismol princess. Ugh, I don't want that. And then I was like, hold up. I've kind of always had a secret dream of having a pink wedding dress, so why not? And I ended up trying it on. I was like, actually, I really like this. And I didn't look like a Pepto-Bismol princess because it was just a really light blush pink. And I ended up loving it. It was fantastic. So, and no complaints there. The veil that they gave us was for free, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my mom was like, "This will be my wedding gift to you. I'll pay for your wedding dress." And I was like, "What? Okay." So then I was like, okay, now I gotta buy Josh's ring. I don't really have a lot of money for that, and so my budget right now is like little to none. So I ended up buying him a wedding ring off of Amazon. It's titanium something or another. I'll put it down below. And it was like between $10 and $20, so no big deal there. And it's lasted great. He loves it. It's his style. It's very simple, and it's not flashy. And Josh is a very simple guy, which I absolutely love. So that's how the wedding ring went down. And then I know that like wedding bouquets can cost over $200 mostly, and I personally love making bouquets, and so I decided to make my own. And that cost me $30 total. I just went to our local grocery store and bought a bunch of flowers and put them together. But this was kind of not good, so the flowers wilted. And the day before my wedding, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a wedding bouquet. What do I do? So one of my mom's friends ended up just making me a bouquet. It turned out fine. Like, it wasn't the most beautiful thing that I'd ever seen, and I was kind of sad about that, but I quickly got over it because I had just gotten married, so who cares? I was married. I was happy. And so, as you can kind of see, like, all in all, it costs, let's just say, $20 for the wedding ring, and then $30 for the bouquet that didn't end up working out. So that's $50. And then Josh spent $50 on his suit at Walmart. So that's another $50. It's $100. Okay. And then I spent $1 at a thrift shop for some ribbon that I ended up not using. So $101. And isn't that funny that, like, a lot of things that I spent money on, I didn't even end up using. And then with the reception, I was like, okay, I need to have things hanging off the ceiling, and I want like a canopy looking type feel. And then the lady was like, that'll be $1,500. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. So I ended up not doing that. And my aunt is an interior designer, and so she basically just brought her house furniture and just put it in our reception area. So because it was March, we couldn't have it outdoors, so we had it in a chapel. And I have a very similar style to my aunt's, thank goodness. And so everything that she brought from her home and just put in the chapel was like my style. So when I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm walking into this beautiful garden area, and this is wonderful. And so that didn't cost us a single penny because the chapel was free, and my aunt providing her house furniture was free. And then I had a good friend of mine who let me borrow some mason jars, and we put little tea lights in them, and my mom ended up paying for all the food. She had a very, like, good budget, and she was under budget. She spent less than $1,500 total on all the food, the decorations, everything like that. So that was really neat. As far as the pictures go, so our engagements, I was like, I want good engagements. And my sister-in-law is actually a photographer, so she just did that for our wedding gift. We didn't end up having to pay for our photos, which was neat. And I was like, okay, I want a videographer, and I'm willing to pay $350 for that. Well, I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Do I really want to do that? $350, that's not really... It's not a need, it's not a necessity, it doesn't exactly bring comfort to my mind when I think about spending that much money. And so what I did instead was I had my uncle film little bits and pieces just with his phone of our reception, and that ended up being fine, whatever. And then we had, like, our cousin took our wedding photos, which turned out awesome, and I have no complaints there. So, all in all, it cost Josh $50 for his suit, $30, well, let's just only count the things that I used. I paid to get my name changed. Josh paid for the marriage license, and then I paid for his wedding ring, which was $20. And I already had the shoes that I wanted. I already had the jewelry that I wanted, and so yeah, I really only paid for those things. So that was a very minimal wedding. We had a lot of guests and everything. That was kind of hard. Doing all the wedding invitations, that was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so many things. So basically, I'm just telling you that you don't have to have an extravagant wedding in order to have a perfect day. The perfect day is just you and the person you love getting married. Just let other people share their talents inside your wedding and inside your reception. And what was neat too is we are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we got married in the temple. We got married in the Salt Lake Temple, and we were married on my parents' anniversary. So that kind of like totally surpassed this idea of wanting to have an outdoor reception. It ended up being a celebration of my parents as well as our wedding. And oh my gosh, it was just the most amazing thing. So I just want to invite you to, this is a great skill to learn, and something that helped me is I chose 3 things that I had to have. And that was my dress, the bouquet, and my groom. What's funny is that the bouquet didn't end up working out, but that was fine. And so I was just happy with feeling nice in my dress, and the most important part of that day was getting married to my groom. And we've been happily married for 6 months now, and it's been absolutely wonderful. So go ahead and comment down below if you're getting married soon and what 3 things are most important to you, and then let everything else fall by the wayside. You can give your opinion in different options, but ultimately don't be surprised on the wedding day if it's not exactly what you pictured, but it's going to be perfect. Thank you so much for commenting, liking, and subscribing. I love you all so much. We'll see you next time here on my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.